The sky was an expanse of cerulean blue, stretching uninterrupted across the horizon. When it happened, it began as a mere shimmer, a distortion in the atmosphere that caught the attention of those gazing upward. Within moments, the shimmer expanded into a blinding flash of light, slicing through the heavens like a divine beacon. For a brief, breathtaking moment, day turned to night as the light consumed everything. Then, just as suddenly, it receded, leaving behind an eerie silence and an unmistakable sight. A colossal alien spacecraft, hovering ominously above Earth. This was no mere figment of imagination, no optical illusion or misinterpreted meteorological phenomenon. It was real, tangible, and undeniably otherworldly. News of the event spread like wildfire, first through social media, then through official channels, as every major network scrambled to cover the unfolding spectacle. The world was collectively holding its breath, unified by a mixture of fear, awe, and an insatiable curiosity about what this meant for humanity. In Washington, D.C., the president was hurried into an emergency meeting with top military and scientific advisors. Similar scenes played out in capitals across the globe. Satellite feeds, telescopic imagery, and every available technological resource were trained on the object, but none could definitively determine its origin or intent. Speculation ran rampant. Was it an invasion? A peaceful contact? A harbinger of doom? As panic began to set in, the spacecraft made its first move. A beam of light emanated from its underbelly, casting an iridescent glow over the city below. Then came the message, a soundless communication that resonated within the minds of every human on Earth. It was clear, concise, and multilingual, transcending the barriers of language and culture. Greetings, Earthlings. We come in peace. We seek to understand your world and your species. May we land and begin our journey of mutual discovery. The message was met with a mixture of relief and skepticism. Governments convened emergency sessions, debating the appropriate response. Military forces were put on high alert, yet restrained from acting impulsively. The general consensus was cautious optimism. Humanity had long speculated about extraterrestrial life, and now that the moment had arrived, it was imperative to handle it with care. After hours of deliberation, a unified response was crafted. The United Nations, acting as the voice of the global community, transmitted a reply. We welcome you to Earth. We wish to engage in peaceful dialogue and mutual learning. A landing site will be prepared for your arrival. A remote desert in the American Southwest was chosen as a landing site, deemed secure yet accessible. The location was quickly transformed into a hub of activity, with scientists, diplomats, and military personnel assembling to witness this historic event. News agencies were granted limited access, ensuring transparency while maintaining order. As the world watched, the alien spacecraft slowly descended, its massive form casting a long shadow over the desert floor. The air was thick with anticipation as the ship settled with a gentle hum, the ground beneath it trembling slightly from its sheer size. A ramp extended, and the first of the aliens emerged. They were humanoid in shape, but unmistakably alien in every other aspect. Their skin shimmered like polished glass, reflecting the light in a spectrum of colors that shifted with their movements. They had elongated limbs, slender and graceful, and their faces bore features that were both familiar and foreign. Their eyes, large and luminous, seemed to hold a depth of knowledge and experience that transcended human understanding. Leading the group was a figure who introduced itself as Elif. With a calm and measured voice, it addressed the assembly. We are the Kilorians, travelers from a distant star. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding. We thank you for your hospitality. Dr. Evelyn Carter, a prominent astrophysicist and one of the appointed liaisons, stepped forward. Her heart pounded in her chest, a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through her veins. Extending her hand in a gesture of goodwill, she said, "Welcome to Earth, Elif. We hope your journey was pleasant." Elif observed the gesture, then mimicked it, its long fingers gently clasping Dr. Carter's hand. "Your customs are fascinating. We are eager to learn." The initial meeting was brief, filled with formalities and mutual observation. The Keylorians expressed their desire to learn about Earth's diverse ecosystems, cultures, and technological advancements. In return, they offered insights into their own history, their travels across galaxies, and the advanced technology that had brought them here. A temporary base was established near the landing site, where the Keylorians could interact with Earth's representatives in a controlled environment. The world watched with bated breath, each new development covered extensively by the media. Skeptics and believers alike debated the implications, while conspiracy theories ran rampant. Despite the underlying tension, there was a sense of cautious optimism. The Keylorians had shown no aggression, and their demeanor was consistently respectful and inquisitive. Their arrival had brought the world together in a way few events ever had, uniting nations under a common goal of understanding. As days turned into weeks, the Keylorians continued their interactions, slowly unveiling their technology and sharing glimpses of their knowledge. They were particularly fascinated by Earth's biodiversity, the complexity of its ecosystems, and the resilience of its inhabitants. Elith often remarked on the beauty and danger inherent in the planet, a sentiment that resonated deeply with those who called Earth home. Dr. Carter found herself spending long hours in discussion with Elith, sharing stories of human achievements, struggles, and the indomitable spirit that defined the species. In return, Elith shared tales of other worlds, some thriving, others desolate, and the lessons learned from each. Through these exchanges, a bond began to form, a mutual respect and understanding that transcended the initial apprehension. The Keylorians were no longer seen as mere visitors, but as potential allies, perhaps even friends. Yet, beneath the surface of this newfound camaraderie, there lingered an undercurrent of unease. Earth was, after all, a world of contrasts, a place of breathtaking beauty and unrelenting danger. Natural disasters, environmental challenges, and the unpredictability of human behavior were ever-present reminders of the planet's volatile nature. The Keylorians, with their advanced understanding of the universe, were not blind to these realities. They observed, they learned, and they questioned. And as they delved deeper into the complexities of Earth, they began to uncover truths that would test the very foundations of their mission. In the end, the arrival of the Keylorians was not just an encounter with extraterrestrial life, but a profound reflection on humanity itself. It was a journey of discovery, not only of the universe beyond, but of the resilience, adaptability, and spirit that define life on Earth. The world watched, waited, and wondered what would come next. For in the vastness of the cosmos, Earth was but a small, fragile world, yet it held within it the potential for greatness. The Keylorians had come in peace, but their journey was just beginning, and so was humanity's. The Keylorians settled into their temporary base near the landing site, a structure that seamlessly melded their advanced technology with Earth's natural environment. Despite their otherworldly appearance and capabilities, they approached their mission with humility and respect, eager to understand the complexities of human civilization and the planet they inhabited. The initial days were a whirlwind of controlled interactions, each side cautiously learning about the other. Humanity, ever curious and skeptical, had 1,000 questions. What brought the Keylorians to Earth? What had they seen in their travels across the cosmos? Were there other intelligent species out there? The Keylorians, on the other hand, were equally inquisitive, seeking to understand human culture, governance, and the intricate web of life that thrived on this vibrant yet volatile planet. Elith, the Keylorian leader, often took the lead in these exchanges. With their calm demeanor and measured speech, Elith quickly became a figure of fascination and respect. Dr. Evelyn Carter, serving as a primary liaison, spent hours in dialogue with Elith, bridging the gap between their worlds. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the desert, Elith and Dr. Carter sat outside the base, observing the shifting colors of the sky. The air was cool, a gentle breeze stirring the sand. Elith broke the silence, their voice thoughtful. Your planet is both beautiful and unpredictable. We've encountered worlds with extreme conditions, but Earth is unique. It is as if nature itself is in constant flux, creating and destroying in equal measure. Dr. Carter nodded. That's a fair assessment. Earth has a way of keeping us on our toes. Our climate, our ecosystems, they're all interconnected in ways we're still trying to fully understand. And sometimes, that unpredictability can be devastating. Ella tilted their head, their luminescent eyes reflecting the fading light. Yet, you endure. Despite the challenges, your species thrives. It is a testament to your resilience. Resilience is one way to put it, Dr. Carter said with a wry smile. Stubbornness might be another. We've faced countless challenges. Natural disasters, wars, disease, and somehow, we keep moving forward. Sometimes, I wonder if it's more out of necessity than anything else. The conversation shifted to Earth's history, a tapestry woven with triumphs and tragedies. Elif listened intently as Dr. Carter recounted tales of human exploration, scientific breakthroughs, and the indomitable spirit that had driven humanity to the stars. Yet, she did not shy away from the darker chapters, wars, environmental degradation, and the struggles that continued to shape their world. Elif seemed particularly intrigued by the concept of conflict. War is not unknown to us, they said, their tone somber, but we strive to avoid it. Our travels have taught us that cooperation and understanding are the keys to survival. Why, then, do your people engage in such destructive behavior? Dr. Carter sighed, the weight of history heavy on her shoulders. That's a question we've been asking ourselves for centuries. Sometimes it's about resources, sometimes ideology, sometimes just plain misunderstanding. But we're learning. Slowly, perhaps too slowly, but there's hope. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion nearby. A group of Kilorians had gathered around a makeshift garden where Earth scientists were demonstrating sustainable agricultural practices. The Kilorians were fascinated by the diversity of plant life, marveling at the intricate balance required to cultivate food in harmony with the environment. Elif watched with interest. Your ability to adapt and innovate is remarkable. We have observed similar traits in other species, but yours is particularly pronounced. It is as if Earth itself has shaped you to be survivors. Dr. Carter smiled. Earth is a tough teacher. It doesn't give us much choice but to adapt. And sometimes we get it right. The Kilorians' fascination extended beyond Earth's ecosystems. They were equally captivated by human culture, the arts, music, and literature that offered a window into the human soul. Elif often attended cultural exchanges where they listened to music, watched performances, and engaged in philosophical discussions. One evening, during a gathering at the base, a group of musicians performed a traditional piece, their instruments weaving a melody that spoke of longing and hope. Elif sat quietly, their eyes closed, absorbing the music. When the performance ended, they opened their eyes, a soft glow emanating from within. Music, Ella said softly. It is a universal language, transcending barriers. It speaks to the essence of being. Dr. Carter nodded in agreement. It's one of the ways we connect, even when words fail. Music has the power to heal, to inspire, to bring us together. As the days turned into weeks, the bond between the Kilorians and their human hosts deepened. Trust began to replace caution, and the initial apprehension gave way to genuine curiosity and mutual respect. The Kilorians shared stories of their travels, of worlds both thriving and desolate, and the lessons they had learned from each. Elif often spoke of the Kilorian philosophy, a belief in the interconnectedness of all life and the importance of preserving balance. Every world we encounter teaches us something new, they explained. Some lessons are harsh, others enlightening, but all are valuable. Dr. Carter found herself reflecting on those words, considering the implications for Earth. The planet's challenges were numerous: climate change, environmental degradation, social unrest. But perhaps There was hope in the lessons being learned. Perhaps humanity could find a way to preserve balance and thrive. One afternoon, as they strolled through the desert, Ella turned to Dr. Carter. "We have seen much of your world, but we wish to see more. To truly understand, we must experience the diversity of life, the variety of environments, and the cultures that make up your planet." Dr. Carter agreed. "There's a lot more to Earth than just this desert. Each region, each ecosystem, has its own story to tell. And I think you'll find that the people, too, are as diverse as the landscapes." With that, plans were set in motion for a grand tour of Earth, a journey that would take the Kilorians to the far corners of the globe. It was an opportunity for humanity to showcase its achievements, its resilience, and its flaws. And for the Kilorians, it was a chance to deepen their understanding of this complex, vibrant world. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the desert, Elith and Dr. Carter stood side by side, gazing at the stars. It was a reminder of the vastness of the universe and the shared journey that lay ahead. "Your world is extraordinary," Ella said softly, "and so are your people. We have much to learn from each other." Dr. Carter smiled, a sense of hope blossoming within her. "Welcome to Earth, Elith. It's not always easy, but it's home, and we're glad to have you here." The day dawned with a sense of anticipation as the Kilorians prepared for their grand tour of Earth. The journey promised to be both enlightening and challenging, offering a glimpse into the planet's diverse ecosystems, cultures, and the indomitable spirit of its people. Elith, along with a select group of Kilorian envoys, stood ready, their translucent forms shimmering under the morning sun. Dr. Evelyn Carter, now the unofficial guide and liaison, approached Elith with a smile. "Are you ready for an adventure? There's a lot to see, and each place has its own story." Elith nodded, their expression a mixture of curiosity and determination. "We are eager to learn, Dr. Carter. Lead the way." The first destination on their itinerary was the Amazon rainforest, a vast expanse of greenery teeming with life. The journey there was uneventful, but as they approached the rainforest, the Kilorians' excitement was palpable. They had heard much about this natural wonder, but nothing could have prepared them for the sheer magnitude of its biodiversity. As they stepped into the dense foliage, the sounds of the forest enveloped them, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, the distant calls of unseen animals. The air was thick with moisture, the scent of earth and vegetation filling their senses. Elith marveled at the vibrant ecosystem. "This is truly remarkable. The interconnectedness of life here is evident in every aspect. Each species plays a role, contributing to the balance of this complex system." Dr. Carter nodded. "The Amazon is often referred to as the lungs of the earth. It's a vital part of our planet's health, yet it's under constant threat from deforestation and climate change." The Kilorians were visibly disturbed by this revelation. Elith turned to Dr. Carter, their expression serious. "Why would anyone endanger such a precious resource?" "It's complicated," Dr. Carter replied, her tone somber. "Economic pressures, short-term gains, and sometimes just plain ignorance. But there are many who are fighting to protect it, to preserve this incredible place for future generations." The Kilorians spent days exploring the rainforest, documenting the flora and fauna, and engaging with local conservationists who shared their passion for preservation. They were particularly fascinated by the indigenous tribes who had lived in harmony with the forest for centuries, their knowledge of the land passed down through generations. Elith was deeply moved by their stories. These people have learned to live with the land, not against it. There is much wisdom here, wisdom that should be shared and respected. From the lush greenery of the Amazon, the journey continued to the vast deserts of the Sahara. The contrast was stark. Where the rainforest was dense and humid, the desert was expansive and arid, its landscape shaped by the relentless sun and shifting sands. The Kilorians were intrigued by the adaptability of life in such harsh conditions. They observed the resilient cacti, the swift-footed lizards, and the nomadic tribes who had thrived in this environment for centuries. Elith commented, "Life here is a testament to adaptability. Despite the harshness, it finds a way to endure and even flourish." Dr. Carter agreed. "The desert teaches us resilience. It's a harsh environment, but it's also beautiful in its own way. The people here have learned to respect its power and live in harmony with it." As the tour continued, the Kelorians visited towering mountain ranges, serene lakes, bustling cities, and remote villages. Each location offered new insights into the diversity of life on Earth. They marveled at the ingenuity of human engineering, the creativity of the arts, and the rich tapestry of cultures that span the globe. In the icy expanses of Antarctica, the Kelorians were struck by the stark beauty of the frozen landscape. They observed the penguins, seals, and other wildlife that had adapted to the extreme cold, and they were reminded once again of the resilience of life. Elith reflected, "Even in the harshest of conditions, life finds a way." It is a reminder of the tenacity of existence. One of the most profound experiences came during their visit to a bustling metropolis. The Kelorians were fascinated by the energy of the city, the constant movement of people and vehicles, the towering skyscrapers that reach for the sky. Yet, they were also struck by the stark contrast, the wealth and poverty, the innovation and the challenges that came with rapid urbanization. Elith turned to Dr. Carter with a thoughtful expression. "Your cities are marvels of human achievement, but they also reveal the complexities of your society. There is much potential here, but also much to learn and improve." Dr. Carter acknowledged the observation. "Cities are a reflection of our progress and our struggles. They offer opportunities, but they also present challenges, social, environmental, and economic. It's a delicate balance." Throughout the journey, the Kelorians remained eager learners, absorbing every detail and engaging with people from all walks of life. They attended cultural festivals, participated in traditional ceremonies, and listened to the stories of those who called Earth home. One evening, during a gathering in a remote village, Elith shared their thoughts with Dr. Carter. "Your world is a mosaic of contrasts, beauty and danger, innovation and tradition, resilience and vulnerability. It is this complexity that makes it so fascinating." Dr. Carter smiled. "Earth is far from perfect, but it's our home. We've faced countless challenges, and we'll face many more. But we've also accomplished incredible things. And with allies like you, perhaps we can achieve even more." As the tour neared its end, the Kelorians prepared to return to their base, their minds filled with the experiences and lessons they had gathered. Elith expressed their gratitude to Dr. Carter and the people of Earth. "Thank you for sharing your world with us. It has been an eye-opening journey. We have much to consider, and we look forward to deepening our understanding and collaboration." Dr. Carter felt a sense of accomplishment and hope. "Thank you, Elith. We're glad to have you here, and we look forward to what the future holds. Together, we can learn and grow, and perhaps find a way to navigate the challenges ahead." The journey had been more than just a tour. It had been a profound exchange of knowledge, culture, and understanding. The Kelorians had come seeking to learn, and in doing so, they had forged a bond with humanity, a bond that held the promise of a brighter future. As the sun set on the final day of their tour, casting a golden glow over the landscape, Elith and Dr. Carter stood side by side, gazing at the horizon. It was a moment of reflection and anticipation, a reminder of the journey that lay ahead. "Welcome to Earth," Dr. Carter said softly. "It's a challenging place, but it's also full of wonder, and we're glad to share it with you." The final leg of the Kelorian tour of Earth had left a deep impression on both the visitors and their human hosts. The Kelorians had seen the vast beauty of the planet, its breathtaking landscapes, and its diverse cultures. They had encountered the strength and resilience of Earth's inhabitants and the complexities of its social, political, and environmental issues. In return, they had shared knowledge of the stars, their advanced technology, and insights into the interconnectedness of all life. Yet, beneath the surface of this growing alliance, something darker simmered, an unease, a question that the Kelorians had been grappling with in private. As the days passed, the Kelorians grew increasingly concerned. They had learned a great deal about humanity's capacity for kindness, innovation, and survival. But there was also a disturbing pattern, a tendency for destruction that seemed to follow humanity wherever it went. The Keylorians had witnessed firsthand the environmental damage, the geopolitical strife, and the underlying instability that threatened to unravel the fabric of human society. Elith, the Keylorian leader, spent long hours in quiet contemplation, reflecting on the experiences of the tour. They had come to Earth seeking understanding. Yet the more they observed, the more questions arose. What was it about humanity that led it down such a path? Why did it seem so difficult to balance progress with preservation? Why did some civilizations thrive while others fell into ruin? It was one evening, as the desert skies stretched out above them, that Elith decided to speak to Dr. Carter about their concerns. They had been sitting in silence, watching the stars, when Elith finally broke the stillness. "Dr. Carter," Elith began, their voice soft yet tinged with worry, "we have seen much of your world, and there is much to admire. But there is also a troubling undercurrent that we cannot ignore. It is not just the environmental destruction or the wars that concern us. It is something deeper." Dr. Carter turned to face Elith, her expression serious. "What do you mean?" Elith paused, searching for the right words. "We have studied your history, your culture, and your conflicts, and we have seen a pattern emerge, one that suggests a fundamental flaw in your species' approach to the future. Humanity is capable of great things, innovation, creativity, compassion, but it is also driven by a sense of urgency and fear that often leads to its undoing." Dr. Carter's brow furrowed, and she leaned forward. "You're talking about the destructive tendencies we've witnessed in our history, aren't you? The wars, the environmental degradation, the social unrest." "Yes," Elith replied, their gaze intense. "But it is more than that. It is a lack of foresight, a disregard for the long-term consequences of your actions. There is an impatience that drives you, a tendency to act without fully understanding the impact of those actions. And that is what concerns us most." Dr. Carter took a deep breath, contemplating Elith's words. She knew that humanity had always struggled with the balance between progress and preservation, but hearing it put so bluntly by an outside observer stung. She had always hoped that humanity's resilience would carry it through, that its capacity for change and adaptation would prevail in the end. But Elith's words planted a seed of doubt. "You're not wrong," Dr. Carter said quietly. "We've made mistakes. Some of them are so deeply ingrained in our history that it's hard to see a way forward. We often act impulsively, without considering the long-term consequences. And it's true, fear drives a lot of our decisions. Fear of losing what we have, fear of change, fear of the unknown." Elith's eyes softened, a gentle understanding in their expression. "We have seen this in other species as well. It is not unique to your kind. But what makes your situation different, Dr. Carter, is that you are at a crossroads. Your world is teetering on the edge of a precipice. If you do not change your course, if you do not learn to address these deep-rooted issues, the consequences could be catastrophic." The weight of Elith's words hung heavy in the air. Dr. Carter knew that Earth faced challenges unlike any it had faced before: climate change, resource depletion, political polarization. But hearing it from Elith, an outsider who had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations across the galaxy, made it all the more real. "What can we do?" Dr. Carter asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "How can we change? How can we overcome the patterns of fear and destruction that seem so deeply embedded in our nature?" Elith regarded her carefully, their expression thoughtful. "The first step is awareness. You must understand the nature of the forces that drive your behavior. You must confront the fear that motivates so much of your actions: fear of scarcity, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. Once you confront these fears, you can begin to find solutions." Dr. Carter nodded slowly. "It's not an easy task. Fear is a powerful motivator, and it's not just individuals who are driven by it. Nations, corporations, entire systems are shaped by fear. But Maybe we can start by building trust. Trust in each other, trust in the future, trust that we can overcome our challenges together. Elita's gaze softened. Yes, trust is key. You must learn to trust not only in yourselves but in each other. You are not alone in this journey. You are part of a larger community. Earth's ecosystems, your fellow humans, the stars above. And you must trust that cooperation, not conflict, will lead you to a brighter future. The conversation lingered in Dr. Carter's mind long after it ended. She could not ignore the truth in Elita's words. Humanity had come so far, and yet it seemed to be on the brink of unraveling. The scars of the past were still fresh, and the fear of the future loomed large. But in Elita's message, there was hope. The Keylorians had not come to judge or condemn. They had come to offer guidance, to help humanity see its potential. They had seen the same patterns in other worlds, and they had watched those civilizations rise and fall. But they had also seen the possibility for change, for growth, for redemption. As Dr. Carter lay awake that night, staring up at the stars, she thought about the future. Earth was a fragile world, but it was also a resilient one. And perhaps, with the help of the Keylorians, humanity could learn to break free from its destructive patterns and chart a new course, one of cooperation, foresight, and hope. The journey was far from over. The challenges were immense, but so too was the potential. The Keylorians had come to Earth not just as visitors, but as allies, willing to help, willing to teach, and willing to learn. And in the quiet of that desert night, with the stars shining brightly overhead, Dr. Carter made a silent promise to herself. To help humanity face its fears, to embrace the lessons of the past, and to work toward a future that was not dictated by destruction, but by hope.